when the House of Representatives wants to bring something to a vote, they have to have a certain number of House members say, we want to vote on this.
Okay.
Our signature is here to say, let's vote. And so Adelita Grijalva was the last one that was needed. I think it was like 218 signatures from House members in order just to call it for a vote.
I see.
Right?
So,
So the
so
vote itself doesn't even mean that it will pass and that they will be released. But what it
right.
means is that all of those Republicans who ran on release the Epstein files now have to go on the record for saying, I voted against it.
Yeah. Right.
Because Trump told me to.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Bloomburg Democrat. This is my faithful younger brother, John Daniels. He keeps sticking all this out with me.
Yeah. I need a break
Thank
every
you,
now and
John.
then.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a short break just because timing didn't work out for either or of us for a couple of weeks, but we're back.
Yep.
And a lot has occurred since we last talked. The big one being that we have seen the end of the government shutdown, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not completely over in that the continuing resolution has not yet been fully passed.
Right.
But we did have 8 Democratic or independent. There was, I think, one or two independent senators.
Members.
Yep, who kind of crossed over to sign to end the shutdown, which made a lot of people really unhappy. A lot of people. I was hesitant to have a strong opinion about it, even right after it happened. I mean, I was truly disappointed. Don't get me wrong. It's like, why did we put everybody through all of this pain just to give up and get nothing from it?
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what happened.
Yeah. Some people are not good at that, at waiting through the suffering in order to get to the good thing that comes after. And they would rather give up and get nothing than to continue with the suffering. And
I
guess that's
and and again, I'm very hard pressed to have a strong opinion about it because I'm not on SNAP, right? We have a sibling who is, because she's disabled and she relies on that extra money to pay for her food every month, which she still has not gotten, by the way. She lives in Texas, and there were states, Democratic governor-led states, who fought to make sure that their people's SNAP benefits were funded, or at the very least partially funded. There was only, I think, one Republican state where they got a partial, and every other Republican-led state, nothing. And so, there were definitely the people who were concerned about feeding folks, and then there were the people who could care less.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the Democrats started to waver, because they thought that the Republicans would still feed people.
Oh, well, yeah, fact, because they say that they like Jesus and everything. And Jesus was all about feeding the poor.
Well, yes, and we've had shutdowns in the past, and SNAP was always paid.
Yeah.
Nobody said, oh, well, government shut down, we're going to starve people.
Yeah.
And the Democrats truly believed that that would be the case this time as well. People would still receive those basic benefits. And the Republicans said, no, we're shut down. We're not giving anybody any of their benefits.
Well, except for ICE. ICE got a lot of benefits. And
well, the military still got paid. They picked and chose what
the military
they were
also
pay.
going to food banks as well.
They were also going to food banks, and they still do. I mean, as a general, month-to-month situation, a lot of them do still rely on it, especially if they have families.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Right. And, we've got giant corporations who huge percentage of their employees are on SNAP, like Walmart.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
My one comment was Walmart, at the very least, should be feeding their people while the government is shut down.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that happened at all, but they should have been prepared to feed their employees until it was over. Walmart basically receives government welfare by not having to pay their employees a living wage.
Yes, yes.
And
this has
so,
long been a criticism of the progressives. Why do these big corporations, they don't hardly pay any taxes, they don't pay any wages, like they are super subsidized by the government.
yeah, and make billions
I don't
every
get
year.
it. Yeah, yeah,
But so anyway, the Democrats made the mistake of thinking that Trump would still feed people. And when it became apparent that he absolutely wasn't going to feed them, and in fact, he was going to fight against the judge's orders that said they had to pay those benefits, he
and not only just
actively
stop, but also take back
right,
everything they've done.
right. He wanted
It's
other
like
states that had
vindictive.
paid partials, right, or whatever, to take that money back. I don't know how they were going to do that, especially not if it goes on to debit cards, basically, that as soon as people use those debit cards, that money's gone. So I
It's
don't
like
know what they
it's
were
like he
thinking.
doesn't only dislike the people, he really hates these people. Like if you were receiving government benefits, he would rather you die of starvation than what? I don't know. Like he's paid $180 billion for ICE, I think. Isn't that the right figure? I
Something
think it
like
is. It's
that.
180
Yeah,
billion dollars, and it's more than every police department in the country combined gets per year.
yeah.
That is
and and
unjustifiable.
he's tearing down the White House to build his big, beautiful $300 million ballroom. I think it's maybe around 350
Yeah.
now is where they think it's at.
Oh,
And
of
he was having
course.
this great Gatsby themed party in Mar-a-Lago while the government was still shut down, while he was still fighting to not give anybody their benefits. The optics are just horrific. And it's as if he has no awareness at all about what that looked like. So it's a mess. But that said, those senators did cross the line to make an agreement, which again has still not fully cleared both houses yet, because the senators also added things onto that bill at the last minute. Have you heard about this?
No,
Have you heard
no,
about the
but
things?
maybe that's not so bad. It poisons it.
Well, it's not the senators who were saying, if you do this, we'll give you our vote. No, this was Republican senators who wanted to sneak something in on that bill. So the clean CR bill, of course, has never been clean. That's always been a lie. And because they changed it, not only in the ways that they worded things to get those additional senators to sign on, but they actually added other things onto it. So this one's kind of fishy as well. They added language into it that basically said that any senator who had had their phone tapped, or not tapped, sorry, their phone records subpoenaed for, and I'll have to get the wording to make sure it's said correctly on here. But basically, if they had had their phone records subpoenaed as far back as 2022, and this is going into the things that had been looked at in regard to Trump's criminal behavior, right? They were subpoenaing phone records, that those senators could then sue the government for up to $500,000 each. And there was 8 senators for which this applied. Republican senators. Didn't tell anybody. They just kind of snuck it in at the end. Even Mike Johnson was none too pleased about that one. So this is the kind of politics
I feel like
we
at this
continue
point
to
we
deal
can
with.
all sue the government. If you
I
want
would,
to,
yeah, I would think
why not?
so. Like these are my taxes that are being used for this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I've felt the same way when they've done things like, cage children at the border, back during Trump's first administration. I mean, there were things that I screamed, it's like, my taxes are paying for this cruelty.
Yeah.
Your taxes are paying for ICE to rip families apart. And it's just insanity.
Yeah.
But so once the CR bill is cleaned up yet again, and I think they will drop that piece off on the House version of it, the House will have to vote on it again. But then because it's changed from what the Senate voted on, the Senate will have to then vote on it again before it ever finds its way to Donald Trump. So we're still waiting on some of that to happen. And in the meantime, people still have not received, their SNAP benefits. And there's still a lot of folks that are getting prepared to have to pay, double to triple to almost 4 times as much on their affordable health care insurance.
Yeah, not very affordable, is it?
No, and we've really gotten nothing out of this whole
Trump
disaster.
said that he was going to bring the prices of everything down, right? And that's what we really need, because I pay for 30% of every doctor's visit that I make, but I never really pay more than like $10, $20. And if I have like a lot done with x-rays and everything, it might be around like $70. But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then even if you wanted an MRI and you have to pay, because if it's not recommended by a doctor, it's elective, and you can get elective MRIs, and they cost about $1,000. But that means the MRI is only $3,000, right?
Yeah.
So we got to get the prices of things down in the U.S. That's the main problem. It's not that insurance is expensive, because, yeah, it is, but that's not the underlying problem. Insurance is expensive because healthcare is expensive, and healthcare should not be that expensive, especially since most of the patents are owned by American companies. So how is it we're paying so much more in America than anywhere else in the world for the same stuff? It's insane.
Because our government is run by the corporations that run
yes, I know.
the hospitals.
The United States is extremely corrupt. I understand this.
It's horribly corrupt.
These are rhetorical questions, I suppose.
Right.
We need to think about it. Why are we paying so much for healthcare when nobody else pays that much?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And it's because we don't have a government that is working on the side of the people to manage the cost of things. Instead, they're being paid off by lobbyists to make sure that those costs stay very high as the American public can or will tolerate. Without, and a lot of people die because of it, right?
Yes, a lot of
we
people
die younger. American health results are poor for a first world country.
Oh yes, and most first world countries, their life expectancy continues to climb. In America, it's gone down.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with our sick care, basically. It's more cost effective to keep you sick.
Yes.
So back to the shutdown. Like I said, I hesitated to be completely furious about the fact that the shutdown ended for one specific reason. And that was that the House was going to have to come back mostly to vote on, going ahead and getting this supposedly clear, but it was obviously going to be changed, bill passed to get to the president. But as soon as they returned, they were going to have to put Adelita Grijalva into Congress.
Right.
And she was the vote, or the last signature rather, to call for a vote to release the Epstein files. And so, of course, Epstein is back at the top of the news cycle again.
Yep.
Because not only did she sign that piece of paper, but the estate of Jeffrey Epstein has also been releasing to Congress emails that they have the ability to release without it having to be approved by Congress and by the president.
Right, right.
And so between both of those things, Trump is absolutely in hot water again.
Yeah.
Because he just does not look good on paper with all of the Epstein stuff coming out.
He doesn't look good off of paper.
No, he doesn't. But there's a lot of incrimination that occurs with these, even the emails that have since come out, because it suggests that he absolutely knew what Epstein was up to. He knew about the girls. And even if he didn't have sex with them, although there's certainly one young woman that claims that she was one of Epstein's young women, and absolutely she was given to Trump for that purpose. But if you're going to even say she's another lying woman, which, you know, there's too many women accusing him of this stuff to not believe them. But even if you were going to do that, he knew, and he claims he didn't know. You know, there's a lot of lies that he gets caught up in.
Every other word out of his mouth is a lie. That we've come to basically this new standard of where people just lie all the time, and even when it's obvious. And nobody seems to care or do anything at all about it, and there seem to be no repercussions.
Here's the thing, though, John. The reason why I was always thinking it might be okay for this shutdown to end, even with the pain of not achieving anything, is because the Epstein situation matters to Trump's base.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so he has even lost people like Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point.
Right, right.
And Lauren Boebert. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has finally realized that Trump is loyal to no one. So no matter how loyal she was to him, he was never going to be loyal to her. I don't know if Lauren Boebert knows that yet, but they did pull her into the Situation Room to try to convince her to remove her signature from the Epstein file release petition. And so that's where there is no recordings. There's nobody that can, you know, say what happened in that space because there's nothing is recorded.
I don't quite understand this this signature thing. Like, why are signatures needed? Who are these people? Why are they given the authority to write their names or whatever? Like, what's going on?
Signatures, when the House of Representatives wants to bring something to a vote, they have to have a certain number of House members say, we want to vote on this. Okay. Our signature is here to say, let's vote. And so Adelita Grijalva was the last one that was needed. I think it was like 218 signatures from House members in order just to call it for a vote.
I see.
Right? So the vote itself doesn't even mean that it will pass and that they will be released. But what it means is that all of those Republicans who ran on release the Epstein files now have to go on the record for saying, I voted against it.
Yeah.
Because Trump told me to.
Yeah. So I was thinking it was something else because this lady, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but she was only just elected and voted in, and now
so her father was
inducted.
Her father was the representative from her district in Arizona. He passed away early this year. They had a special election, and she was basically voted in by wide margin to replace her father. She was ready to go to work day one.
Yeah.
But Mike Johnson came up with excuse after excuse of why he could not swear her in, because he knew she would be that last needed signature. And so he pushed it and he pushed it and he pushed it, hoping that, what I think he was hoping was that there would be time for a Tennessee special election to occur where they were anticipating a Republican coming in, and then that would throw off the numbers again and her vote wouldn't matter. Her signature wouldn't matter. Right. But once they had to open up the House again in order to finish this continuing resolution business, he had nothing he could do but going ahead and swear her in. And it was the longest wait that anybody has ever had for being sworn into Congress after being elected. And he could have done it at any time. He chose not to.
It feels like we should probably have laws that determine these things.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the precedent has always been that you do it as soon as possible, right? Or at the request of the person who was elected for what date they want to have it done. Yeah. Generally speaking, that's never been a problem.
Yeah.
But when you get somebody who wants to be an obstructionist, who's, the majority leader in the House, then, they'll come up with any of 100 different ways they can think of to not do what they want to do. And Mitch McConnell was the king of being an obstructionist.
Yeah.
And really taught the Republicans how to behave that way.
Yeah. I think when you look at the sheer vast volume of laws that we have in the States, and how they just dictate some of the most ridiculous things, like whether or not you can even take a bath on Sunday and stuff like this. Like, we should have basically every day scripted out in law for representatives and senators, right? It should not be like, generally people do what they're supposed to do, because they're going to always run into people who just don't do what they're supposed to do. And
but sometimes it's hard to know how to anticipate what kind of ways they're going to be obstructionists, though. So, until you have something bad go wrong, you don't know you need a law to prevent it from happening.
Well, but that kind of is not necessarily true, because of, if you just look at all the laws that we have, and they just make up possible scenarios that, well, somebody might do this, and so we have to prevent that. And so then they just make up laws. So we can do the same thing with this, but also just simple procedural stuff. We shouldn't have to try to imagine, well, who's going to try to screw this up. You get elected, you're sworn in, and you just make a timeline. Like, it's got to be within a week or a month or whatever it is, but just set it in stone. It's easy.
Yeah. But like I said, I think we've never had that problem before. So until you have the problem, sometimes you don't know that it's going to be a problem. And so, yes, now we know. I agree. They should create some kind of a structure for how that has to happen in the future. Yeah. And the thing is it benefits both parties, right, to do that.
Well, but
so anyway,
I feel like this is something foreseeable. If you can put like an expiration date on a carton of milk, you can put, a time frame.
Hindsight's 2020. That's the best way I could. There are so many things that have happened.
The bar is too low there. The bar is too low there. It's just too low.
There's so many things that have occurred, though, in this presidency that nobody ever dreamed of. I mean, truly, whoever thought that the president would tear down a big chunk of the White House without the correct approvals to have it done, without going through all the people that needed to know? Who would have thought?
Anybody who looked at Trump's records of how he's ever done anything, I think, could just kind of imagine what's coming next.
We need to write a law today that says Trump can't tear shit down.
Yeah. My guess is he's going to do something to the Washington Monument. He's going to.
Oh God.
He's gonna plate it in gold or something.
Well, that could happen because he's been doing that to the White House too. Up until he ripped out the East Wing, though, pretty much everything he's done was easily reversible, right?
Yeah.
Or you lived with what he changed and just going, well, maybe not my
Yeah.
taste, but okay, it's okay.
Right. Right.
But all the tacky gold, filigree stuff that he stuck all over the place, that's easily removed,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
crazy, like,
Just paint over it.
retirement home lettering, gold lettering, brass lettering he's put on stuff that can be removed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he made a big giant marble bathroom, but how many people are using that bathroom? You probably just leave it.
Yeah.
But the East Wing is never coming back. I don't think they're
Yeah.
just going to rebuild it the way that it was. You know?
Well, I mean, all we need is just a different president, and then he just says, "All right, we're going to tear this thing down. And we're going to build it back the way it was,
Yeah,
and then we're going to make some laws."
yeah.
uh,
I mean, at this point, I just don't see it going that way.
but definitely, I would take that ballroom and I'd turn it into something completely different. It would be
Yeah.
the White House homeless shelter, or
Or,
uh,
yeah.
something like that.
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
natural
Um,
disaster rescue station, or
what does an 80-year-old man who just dances like this need a ballroom for?
he
You
doesn't.
know?
You can do that in the
What's
shower.
he doing in there?
Yeah.
Besides pumping his fist.
Well, sometimes he does like the Bluey style one, I think. Yeah.
So anyway, the Epstein stuff, I've said it once before, although it's been months ago at this point now.
Yeah.
The Epstein stuff still may be the thing that takes Trump down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it still holds that potential. And he's fighting tooth and nail to
Yeah.
not have more of it released. Oh, so here was the other thing.
Hmm.
Um, so one of the things he has done in the last day or two he has instructed Pam Bondi
Hmm.
to look at the Epstein files to see how Bill Clinton and a list of other people, mostly
Hmm.
Democrats, and one was even a bank, were connected to Epstein.
Yeah.
So, in other words, deflect. Don't look at me.
Hmm.
Look at these Democrats. Look at these
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
it doesn't not aware at all that Democrats don't care if Bill Clinton
Yeah.
messed with
Nobody
girls
cares. Yeah.
and there's evidence of it.
Yeah.
Put him in jail.
He's
We're
already been
fine with
impeached
that.
for that once. Yeah, that's right.
We don't worship our
Yeah. No.
leaders
No.
the way MAGA worships him, right?
Yeah.
And
Certainly not a
so
Clinton.
we really don't care.
Well,
Go
I
after
guess that's not
anybody who's
necessarily true.
guilty.
There were some people who were definitely worshiping Hillary. That's for sure.
Well, I don't I don't know. I never
Yeah.
did. So it's hard for
Well,
me
I
to
didn't
know
either. I didn't
because
either,
from
but
my
some certainly
perspective, I
did,
never did.
because it was it
Uh,
was that's why Sanders got railroaded. So,
well, yes, but I think that was more just establishment Democrats fighting to maintain their hold on power, more that
mm,
than actually worshiping Hillary herself. It's the same reason why establishment Democrats are still doing the crazy stuff they're doing.
yeah,
It's the reason people believe that Schumer orchestrated which 8 senators were going to jump ship, because every single one of the ones who signed off are not up for reelection in
right,
2026, or they're not running for reelection at all.
right,
Like they're retiring.
right,
And so they're essentially safe,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so there's a lot of speculation that Schumer said, this is how we're going to do it.
hmm,
And I need you, and you to buck up and be willing to cross over and sign this. I know your voters are going to be unhappy with you, but you've got time to win them back.
hmm,
Right.
yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of people that have speculated that that is what has happened. Here's the point I was going to make a little bit earlier. Sorry, and I know I'm the one doing all the talking today, but
No, it's quite all right.
I'll give you a moment to
I've really been taking a break. I have not looked at the political news as much as I have in the past, and I don't feel
yeah.
like I know everything that's going on. But
Well, that's okay. I'm
mm,
happy to share
yes,
because
I'm happy to listen.
here was something else that I heard today that I
Hmm.
went, "Oh no." Is that the reason that Trump instructed Pam Bondi to look into Clinton and this other list of people is because if it becomes an active investigation, they can prevent the release of the files. Even if Congress votes to have them released.
Yeah, obstructing again.
But I don't know how much longer his base is going to accept all of these excuses.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because even the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I never thought would be one of the first ones to leave MAGA.
Yeah.
She has taken a 180.
Yeah.
And he is coming after her tooth and nail with every Truth Social that he can to kind of try to defame her and to remove his support of anything she has ever said or done.
Yeah. Well, I have mixed feelings about that. I on the one hand, I really don't mind. At least in the past, I will leave the future open for her to choose her own path. But in the past, she's been a pretty terrible person.
Oh, horrible.
So, yeah.
And crazy.
Yeah. So I don't feel terribly bad about that.
Yeah.
But maybe she's turned over a new leaf or something, and
One
maybe
can
she'll.
only hope. I mean, I live in Georgia. I'm not in her I don't get to vote
district
for her. I'm not in her district. Or not vote for her, as the case may be. I'm not in her district. There is a retired military officer who's running against her on the Democrat side. I hope she loses her seat, honestly, and I think there's a chance of that.
Yeah.
But she is definitely voicing dissatisfaction within the MAGA base.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And I think seeing that fracture is actually really important if we ever want to see the end of the Trump administration.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Because right now they do absolutely nothing, and he breaks law after law after law, and nobody cares.
It is the most corrupt administration we have, I think, ever had. I could be wrong. I wasn't alive during the Gilded Age, right?
Well, okay. But even Nixon seems like he didn't do anything nearly close.
No. And he was smart enough to resign when he got caught, right?
Yeah.
Trump has been caught over and over and over again and convicted and impeached twice. And just he Teflon Don. He just pretends it didn't happen and goes forward.
Yeah.
So interesting times.
Yeah.
Wow. Sometimes there's just nothing left to say.
Yeah, I don't have anything else left to say.
Yeah. So we'll just keep watching. I'm very concerned that they're going to use this investigating, this list of Democrats, previous, folks as an excuse to prevent the release of the files. But even if they don't get released, they're still releasing more and more of these emails. And I think if those look fishy enough, you might get enough of the base to also say enough's enough. Release them or we'll never vote for you again.
Well, you can't vote for me again anyways.
Well, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about all of the senators and congressmen who have allowed this to happen because they have given up their power to Trump and his administration.
Definitely. And their responsibilities.
They've abdicated. Yes, they've abdicated all of their responsibilities.
Yes.
So we'll keep an eye, see what happens.
Yeah.
When something interesting pops
America.
up again, we'll get back together.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, John.
Right. No, thank you.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you too. Bye.
If you enjoyed this content, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.